Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about mammoths. So mammoths were around the same size as our modern day elephants, however they had a lot of differences. Like their ears were way smaller, and this was to help keep them warm. Along with this, they had a coat made up of a layer of long hair and an underlayer of shorter hair, and this was to help trap the heat in the minus 58 Fahrenheit temperatures. Their curved tusks were also multifunctional, just like an elephant's. They used them for digging up the ground underneath the snow to forage for grass and shrubs, as we know that mammoths were herbivores. What I really enjoy about mammoths is that you can actually tell so much information just from their tusks. Their tusks are just like tree trunks. Every ring on the inside represents a year, so you can count the rings and find out how old that mammoth is. You can also tell what type of year they've had depending on the thickness of the rings. The thicker the ring, the more food and nutrients they've had. The thinner, the less. This really helps paleontologists study the habits of lives of these prehistoric animals. Some things we know about mammoths are whereabouts they lived, especially woolly mammoths. These creatures lived in and around North America, Europe and Asia, starting about 300,000 years ago till around 10,000. The last known group of mammoths survived until 1650 BC. They commonly lived in herds up to 50 members, mainly females and the young. Male mammoths would leave the herd around 10 to 15 years old. One of my favourite things about new technology is the things that we can find out from the past regarding it. For example, there was a study where researchers have been able to give a basic life about a woolly mammoth. The specimen was a male who was around 28 years old. And how do we know that? Well, scientists discovered that you can collect data from a mammoth tusk. So that's exactly what they did. They split a 6-foot tusk down the middle from around 17,100 years ago. Tusks almost add tissue daily, creating the rings that we spoke about earlier. As the scientists cut it in half, they collected data from 400,000 points along the tusk. The main thing they were researching was the oxygen and strontium isotopes. This basically gives a GPS. Different regions have different isotope signatures. They would be deep down in the ground as minerals and then make their way to the surface to plants and water, which would then be consumed. There has been an isotopic map made of Alaska from the teeth of rodents, as they didn't travel far, so a local map could be procured. Scientists working backwards by looking at the isotopic signatures of where the mammoth was about a week before it died, and then search the isotopic map for the best match of a nearby area. By doing this process over and over again, step by step, in a backwards fashion, they were able to determine the most likely paths and routes the mammoths may have taken. Accounting for distance and potential geographical barriers such as cliffs and mountains, of course, it was determined that the male mammoth seemed to spend his early years in the Yukon River Basin and the interior of Alaska, going backwards and forwards between a few territories in a predictable pattern. Scientists say that this behaviour seems to display a migratory pattern, like the modern-day elephants, suggesting he was living a part of a herd. However, it's not clear if it was a seasonal migrator, but Matthew Wooler, the senior author of the study, suggests it covered some serious ground. Although things shifted drastically when the mammoths turned 15, the sudden change in isotope patterns indicates he was travelling a bit more sporadically, which might mean that he had matured into an age where he left the herd. Another close similarity to elephants. This continued for the last 10 years of his life. However, in the last few years of his life, the mammoth spent nearly all of his time in a smaller territory near the northern coast of Alaska. Unfortunately, at the base of his tusk, so the most recent months and days of his life, we could detect a high level of nitrogen, which is a sign of starvation within the mammal. Scientists concluded that this was his cause of death. This was a sad but unfortunately common end for our mammoth friend. As I'm making this video today, there have been articles about the creation of a woolly mouse. The company that created them are hoping to bring woolly mammoths back for biodiversity reasons. However, it wouldn't be a full mammoth, but more of an elephant mixed with mammoth genes. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you leave a comment, a like or a sub to let me know. I appreciate you and have a wonderful day. Bye.